So this is from Yardbarker. 3 important decisions the Browns must make before the regular season. Number 1, who will lead the backfield if Nick Chubb isn't ready? Number 2, who will be Deshaun Watson's backup? And number 3, is the inside linebacker room good enough? Number 2, it's going to be Jameis Winston is going to be Deshaun. We don't need to talk about that one. What about Nick Chubb? If he's not ready to go, what are your thoughts on the running back core?
You got to start with Jerome Ford. I think he showed you that he can be kind of that number one guy. You don't want to necessarily give him 25 to 30 carries, but someone somewhere in the range of 15 to 18 as the lead back. And then, if Foreman is healthy and it sounds like he's going to be okay, they're just going to take things slow with him after that scare last week. And I think if Hines gets healthy, that those two can be role players and situational guys where Ford gets most of the workload. He can do the run, he can run, and he can catch out of the backfield. He can do a little bit of everything there. So I think you kind of lean on him for 15, 18 carries, somewhere around to that range, kind of as the lead back. But those short yardage situations, here comes Foreman. Those third down pass catching situations, here comes Hines. But yeah, I think you lean pretty heavily on Jerome Ford if Nick Chubb's not out there. And then when the situation arises for those other guys, you go to them as well.
Linebacking core, I know a lot's made of it. I really like Jordan Hicks. I'm interesting to see Watson, Boogie Watson, what he looks like.
Yeah, I like Watson a ton, especially as a pass rusher. We've talked about this a bunch of times, I know, but this is a dude that led the SEC in sacks at a linebacker position, and I think he's kind of flying under the radar. And I understand it; he was a day 3 pick. He's not, a premium, top 100 pick with a lot of hype around him. He's been in college there's some deficiencies in his game, but I think Hicks and JOK, those dudes are set. You're solid. You're top 2 are there. I think Devin Bush has looked pretty good to start training camp, and that's a former top 10 pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And usually if you're a first-round pick defensively for the Steelers, there's a reason. It hasn't really panned up to his draft status all the time, but he's shown some flashes, had a good camp. You add in Watson, I think he can do some really nice things, especially from the pass rush and coverage standpoint. Would like to see him a little bit stronger at the point of attack against the run game, but I think he's got some good situational ability in there, and maybe even Mamu Diabate, probably another guy that can rush the passer and stuff. So I don't think, if you have an injury in the inside linebacker room, I don't think it's a strength, so to speak, especially if you've got to go to the depth, but I don't think it's a glaring weakness that'll hold this team back. I think it is, in fact, good, borderline above average.